We're going to do something a little fun now. You didn't know about this, but what we like to do is we like to kind of get out and look at people's social media feeds and look at photographs, because we feel like that maybe gives the people watching this a little different perspective on who we're interviewing. So we found a couple pictures from your Facebook feed, and we want to show them
what
to
if
you.
I did not post those? Are they still legal?
You posted them.
Okay.
But I would love for you to just take a look at these and maybe tell us a little bit more about what's going on in the pictures. So these are some fun pictures here.
All right. Now that picture was when I was in Australia. I go there about every year and a half and work with another ministry and talk about calling, do this calling course with them. And so we were on a break time. Took me to a beach that's known for kangaroos. These are actually wallabies, not kangaroos.
Yeah.
And they're all over the beach. They just, because they're fed there, they're not supposed to be. But so that was just a great time of going down there. Now I was warned. They said, if they turn on you, they will do real damage real quick. But just to lean down and to pet this little wallaby was an amazing experience.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Australia.
Yeah,
so.
It's a great place.
All right, so here's the next one. You ready for this one?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of unfair for you to do.
I love this one. This is great.
That was back when I was first with this Athletes in Action ministry. Mm-hmm. And our concept was, with different sports, is, as music ministries will go out and they'll go out and perform their music and share the gospel. They'll use music to attract people and to give a message. We use sports to attract people, and then we would give a message. And so this particular time, we were at a TV studio. I think it was Trinity Broadcasting Network.
Wow.
And so we went in and we did this exhibition. We were tumbling and then giving our testimonies and that kind of thing. So that was a long time ago.
But you were quite the
As
athlete.
you can tell. Well,
you were in a gymnast. How long were you a gymnast for?
I was a competitive gymnast in high school and college, and then for 10 years after that with Athletes in Action.
Wow.
So
what were your
my events?
Yeah.
Well, I worked all around.
Okay.
So I worked all the events, all 6 men's events.
Yeah.
So that's how I competed.
That's cool.
That's what we did.
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and 3 of them were in gymnastics too.
Really?
So, yeah. Not at that level, but all through high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had
That's pretty good.
gymnast. So here's the last one.
Okay, so yeah, I love that picture.
That's a great picture.
That's my youngest daughter, Lacey. And I'm not even sure what the context is. I don't know what that says next to it, if it says anything about the picture.
Daughter's heart, father-daughter dinner dance.
Oh, okay. So, there's a group in town that does a father-daughter dinner dance every year. And the first time we went, she just said, "Dad, you need to take me, because I'm only going to be here for 2 more years before I go off to college." And I'm not sure which year that was, but she is my tender sweetheart. She's just great. And so we went to that, and it was a great time together.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. So
I guess I didn't have much choice.
That's right. We kind of got you there. So just a couple more questions. People are going throughout their lives and maybe missing out on understanding, as I hear you say this now, I wouldn't say missing their calling, missing their purpose, but missing out on understanding what their calling is, if I understand you right. And we have a lot of pastors watching this that are working with kids, and they're sort of at the ground level, right, of leading young lives and discovering their purpose. What would you say is the role of a children's pastor, or a volunteer even, who's helping to serve in that capacity and helping a child discover that calling, that purpose? What would their role be?
Well, I'll give you an answer. Let me tell you where I'm coming from to begin with. In what I do, in these weekends that we do, these calling intensive weekends, part of what we do is every person in small groups tells their story from birth to present. We tell them, tell it all. To be honest, the good, the bad, the ugly, tell us your whole story. And every man, especially, that I've heard their story, where their struggle comes down to is that sense of who I am is okay and it is good. And God is doing something. I actually carry something of weight and value that this world needs. And so it's hard to get that at the latter part of your life, or just the present part of your life, let me put it that way, versus throughout your life. Because if you just get it in the current moment, you're always going to look back and go, I don't know if that's true because I never heard that earlier. So I would say to a youth pastor or a volunteer doing this is, one of the most powerful things you could tell somebody, a young boy or girl, is you are loved. Not because you're here, but because of who you are. I know you. I can see you. To be seen is such a powerful thing. And to be accepted, to be seen and accepted is very powerful. I think some kids feel accepted, but they don't feel seen, so they think it's this false thing that they put on, that that's what you like. Yeah. But to say, no, I really do see you. And I love what I see, and I love being with you. So that is a powerful thing. And then calling out what you do see. Yeah. Because again, I think even at an early age, if a boy or girl is complimented on something, they know if that's real or not. There's that sense of,
absolutely.
I'm really not that good at that. I think I just fooled you. Yeah. But boy, if you compliment somebody at a heart level, it's true. You just watch them. Either their countenance changes into this big smile, or it changes into almost crying because it's touched something so deep. So I would say foundationally, you do that for a young boy or girl, being a significant part of their life in this setting. And you call out what you see in their life, but not simply this is something you need to do for others, but this is what you carry. It's beautiful, it's powerful, it's weighty, it's good. That'll change the trajectory of their life.
Man, it's good. So true. All right, one more question. We like to ask this of all of our guests, just because it's interesting to see maybe what God is doing on a grander scale, and sometimes we see some narratives or themes that are playing out. As you spend time in prayer or thought in the church around other believers, what is your sense right now about maybe something you see that God is longing to do, is doing, is working out in and through the body of Christ? Maybe on a grand global scale, maybe on a local scale. Is there something in particular that you're sort of keying in on, maybe in your ministry or something like that, that you see that God is at work doing?
You know, a verse I ran across a while back hit me personally very much. It kind of was God letting me know what was going on right now, and I think it's going on for everyone. It's in Scripture, so everybody could read it and glean from it. But it's a passage in Hebrew where Paul says that once again God is shaking not only the earth but the heavens, so that which should remain will remain. And it starts off by saying, and when God speaks, listen. And I think He is shaking things. In my 62 years of life, I've never seen things appear so unstable, at least in people's view of life. I think people felt more security before, but now there's a shaking, not only in our community, not only in our state, not only in our nation, but globally. There are things shaking. Yeah. And God was predicting this with me. He was just saying, you hold on, and whatever drops off of your life, you leave it on the ground. Don't try to pick it back up again, but look at what remains in your life. And I think He's doing that with all of us. And so I keep telling people, in this time of shaking, the default reaction is to stop. It's just stop, try to take inventory, protect yourself.
Take cover.
Hold on, take cover. And yet I think God is saying, no, it's not a red light now, it's a green light, right? This is the time when you need to speak, you need to move, you need to know who you are, and just bring that into this world. It's needed. So I feel like that's true of my life, and I still feel the pull of, pulling in, shutting down, slowing down. And yet I think God's saying to all of us, no, don't do that. You're not made to do that anyway. You just be uncomfortable.
Run the race, fight the fight.
Right.
Keep going.
Years ago, and I remember hearing a story about, I think it was called the Blackbird. It was one of the fastest jets ever made by the Air Force.
SR-71.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
And so you know the story, right? It was made. It was made so when it hit at top speed, the jet would fit perfectly together because the pieces would contract, or not contract, they would expand from the heat and all this kind of thing.
That's right.
But on the ground, it would leak oil, it would rattle, it was terrible, but when it hit its speed, it was great. And the lesson I remember hearing was, I'm sure you might have heard the same thing, is if you just stay on the ground in the hangar, you will leak, you will not fit, nothing will work properly, but you've got to take off. You've got to hit your speed. Exactly, you're made to fly, then everything works at that point.
Wow.
I thought that was such a great story and illustration.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much again
You're welcome.
for being here. That's I think there's a lot of meat on that bone for people to chew on. Would you just take how much ever time you'd like? We love what you're about at the Noble Heart, what God is doing through that ministry. You've been here at our headquarters speaking to our people about call and purpose. I filled out your inventory myself. Would you speak to people and tell them a little bit about your ministry and maybe something that you have going on right now that you'd like them to know about, and how would they find out about that?
Okay.
Go right ahead.
So, the Noble Heart is designed to help people discover the life that they were created to live, that brings life to others. And that's very important. Some people, right now we live in this narcissistic kind of society where it's all about me being happy, me being seen. We want to help people understand that you need to understand who you are so that you can bring life to others. That's the design of this. That's the flow of it. And so if you go to thenobleheart.com, there's a number of free resources that just help you discover who you really are and how to walk in that. But what we've discovered is, and we said this earlier, right, that it's very hard to see your own life accurately. We really need the life or the eyes of others.
That's right.
And so we have these in-person events called the in-person calling intensive workshop, where it's about 40% teaching, 60% small group, and we go through these exercises so we start to identify what is in your heart really. What has God put there? What is this weightiness, this splendor, this glory that God has put there, your calling, your effect. And so we do these exercises, and at the end of them, we actually have everyone in the group give feedback personally as to what they see your calling really is, and what is probably up against it, what's warring against it, and what is God doing developmentally with you. Because as God is revealing, as God reveals the desires of your heart, He also has to give you strength of heart to handle those desires well, because as we've seen, so many people have mishandled their desires in their life. So we call those things out, we record it, and we give it to you. Now we also do this online, because just not a lot of people can make an event somewhere in the country, and time-wise and travel-wise. So I just encourage people to go to thenobleheart.com, and there they can get the book and the workbook or whatever would help you. And we have plenty of free resources as well to help at that level. So
great. Gary, thanks so much, man.
You're so welcome.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So that's it for this episode of Innovators and Influencers. We welcome your comments. Would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, like this video for us. Be sure and check out Gary's website. Until next time, God bless.
Innovators and Influencers is a podcast produced by Disciplr to keep you connected to people and trends in discipleship ministry that affects the local church. Disciplr is the digital solution for all your church curriculum needs, with over 20 lines of material and powerful customization tools available at one low, affordable price. Go to Disciplr.com to sign up for a free 14-day trial and check out everything it has to offer today.